Hello everyone. So we are here with the second part of the half yearly examination sample paper. Now I hope you all are clear with the section A. So here we will be moving on with section B. So without wasting the time, let's start the solution. Right? So general instructions वही हैं जो पहले थे. It is just for the recap. Right? Now let's start with section B. Now section B में each question carries 2 marks. You would have read in the general instructions as well. So now let's start with. So it will have 5 questions and there will be internal choice and 2 questions as well. Now let's move on with this. A retailer buys 250 kg of rice, a part of which is sells at 10% profit and remaining at 5% profit. And the net profit to the retailer in the whole transaction is 7%. Then find the quantity of rice which is sold at 10% profit. Now here the only confusion with the students is मैम इसमें तो कुछ केजी नहीं दिया कुछ नहीं दिया है हाउ वी विल फाइंड so whenever the percentage of loss and profit is given, it's very easy question and it's a similar question. Okay, let me take it for you. Now suppose here the of course the loss one will be the cheaper and the dearer one will be the profit one. Okay, this is how we take. So loss के लिए minus लेते हैं और profit के लिए we take positive sign. So for the cheaper that is -5. And for the dearer, what will it be? It will be plus 10. Okay. So this is how do we go. Loss by negative sign we show always, and uh, the profit we show with the positive sign always. So now cheaper is -5, D is plus 10. And your mean price is coming out to be 7, positive 7. Okay. Because it's a profit again. So being a profit, it is going to be positive again. Now let's apply our same formula and give the answer for the ratios. Now 10 minus 7, it will come here. So that will be 3. And then here, see, this is important. Now you do 7 minus the cheaper, right? So this will be like this. So it comes out to be what? 12. So what do you get now? 3 is to 12. That will be the ratio for the cheaper to the dearer. Okay, so now I write it here. Ratio of cheaper quantity to the dearer quantity. Okay, so that ratio will be given here. So ratio of dearer and cheaper accordingly we will take. So now that will be 1 is to 4. Correct, because 3 upon 12 is 1 is to 4. So being 1 is to 4, now we will divide for 250. Now we have to find the quantity of rice which was sold at 10% profit. So 10% profit, that was a dearer that we have taken. So that will be counted with 4. Correct, so that is the dearer. So we have to simply calculate the quantity for the dearer one. Now let's move on with that. So it will be basically the one with the profit 10%, right? So profit 10% वाला quantity कितना है हमारा? 4/5 of 250 basically. Right? Simple ratio we are calculating. 1 is to 4 में आप चाहे तो x plus 4x is 250 करके पूरा ratio निकाल सकते हैं. Anything you can do. So now let's have it. So here we have 50. So that gives you what? 200. So 200 kg was the rice which was sold at 10% profit, and hence the other one will have been 50 kg. Right, so let me write it 200 kg. So this is how do we go with this. So profit percent दिया है, loss percent दिया है. Loss को negative से लीजिए, profit को positive से लीजिए. That's the only thing. Now two pipes A and B can fill a cistern in 8 hours and 12 hours respectively. Now this is an option, internal choice, right? So you have to attempt any one. The pipes when opened simultaneously takes 12 hours more to fill the leakage. Once the cistern is full, it will get empty due to leakage in how much time? So that is what we have to find. Leakage से कितनी देर में फिल एम्प्टी होगा. नाउ 8 hours 12 hours अगर हमने दोनों को ओपन किया, so it takes 12 minutes more to fill the leakage. Correct. Now let's move on with this. So how do we go with this? So पहले हम निकाल लेते हैं अगर हमने दोनों को ओपन किया, how much time will it take? So 1/8 plus 1/12 कितना होता है? This is 3 and this is 2. So 5/24. Correct. So which comes out to be how much? This is 1 hour, right? So total time will be 24 upon 5, that is 4.8 hours. Correct. Now उन्होंने क्या बोला? If the pipes are open simultaneously, it will take 12 minutes more to fill the leakage. 12 minutes more to fill the leakage. So now what do you mean by that? कि अगर लीकेज है तो 12 मिनट और ज्यादा ले रहा है. So It takes 12 minutes more. So now 4.8 plus 12 minutes. And now we will change 4.8 to minutes first, and then we will add to it. So 4.8 into 60 plus 12 minutes. So what do you get? 8, and here we get 4, and here plus 12, and here we get 300. 300 minutes means how much time you are getting? 5 hours. So 5 hours में पूरा आपका टैंक हो रहा है. Now once that cistern is full, it will get empty due to leakage in how much time? So ये आपका जो 5 hour का time है, that is what it is taken with the leakage to fill the tank. अगर पूरा आपके पास दोनों टैंक पाइप्स को हमने ओपन कर दिया with the leakage. Now so work done by leakage in 1 hour. इन 1 hour. So वो कितना काम करेगा? 1 hour में कितना फुल हो रहा था और कितना एम्प्टी हो रहा है, दैट इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. करेक्ट, बिकॉज 1/5 5 hours पूरा ले रहा था लीकेज के लिए. विद द लीकेज इट्स गोइंग टू फिल. सो 5/24 फिल होने में ले रहा था और लीकेज की वजह से 12 minutes मोर ले रहा था. सो टोटल हमारे पास ये हो गया. सो नाउ लेट्स डू इट एट द एलसीएम. 25 minus 24, so 1 by 120. So basically 120 120 hours में it will be taken to empty the tank अगर लीकेज होगा. So 120, अगर पूरा टैंक फुल है तो 120 hours, this is for hours, okay, we are calculating with hours only. So 120 hours में it will be empty due to the leakage. Clear to all? It will be empty due to the leakage. I repeat it again. पहले हमने निकाला A और B कितना टाइम ले रहे हैं टैंक को फिल करने के लिए. तो हमें आया 4.8 hours. तो when हम the pipes were open simultaneously, it takes 12 more minutes to fill the leakage also. अगर leakage की वजह से है, so due to that it takes 12 more minutes to fill. तो इसका मतलब 5 hours पूरा लगेगा टैंक को फिल होने के लिए. राइट. सो नाउ 5 hours लग रहा है पूरा. अभी हमें निकालना है कि 1 hour में कितना लीकेज काम करेगा. वर्क डन बाय लीकेज. नाउ लीकेज कितना काम करेगा? ओनली 1/5. करेक्ट. नाउ टोटल टाइम दैट विल बी टेकन फॉर द लीकेज टू एम्प्टी द फुल टैंक. अगर टैंक एक बार फुल हो गया तो टैंक जो फुल हो रहा है वो कितने टाइम में, 1 घंटे में कितना फुल हो रहा है? 5/24. और 1 घंटे में लीकेज जो है वो कितना उसको ड्रेन आउट करेगा? 1/5. दोनों को अगर हम सब्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं, दैट विल गिव यू द टाइम टेकन फॉर द empty the tank by the leakage. Okay, now let's move on to the next. Now next is based on determinants and matrices, that is unit 2. So we have to find the value of k if the area of the triangle is 4 square units. So simply we will use the formula half determinant value 0 k1, and that will be equal to 4. Now here is this equation correct perfectly? 4, are we supposed to take 4 or absolute value of 4? Absolute value of 4, which will be equal to what? Plus minus 4. So this is very important. If you use only plus 4, you will get only one value of k. But if we are using plus minus 4, we will get two values of k. So marks are deducted if you take only one value, okay? Plus 4 if you are taking only. Now let's expand the determinant. So minus 2, 4 minus k. Right, rest all are 0, so we get plus minus 4 here. So 2 cancels out, so minus 4 plus k is equal to plus minus 4. So let's take two values one by one. So minus 4 plus k is equal to 4. So in this case k will be 8. Minus 4 plus k is equal to minus 4. In this case k will be 0. Correct? So this is how we go with this. So two values of k are possible, 8 and 0. Right? So that is important. So you have to take plus minus 4. Clear to everyone? Right? Now let's move on to the next. Now a into adjoint of a without computing adjoint of a. You don't have to compute adjoint of a. Now this means there has to be some property. So what's that property? A into adjoint of a is equal to determinant value of A into In. What is n? N is the order of the matrix given to you. So directly what is the order given to us in this question? 3 order. So you know what is identity matrix of order 3. So determinant value of A has to be multiplied with 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 matrix, and that will give you the value of A into adjoint of A. Now let's find A first. So what will be A if we take along first row? So let's expand it along first row. So 3 down minus up. So 2 minus 3 minus minus 2 will compels 2. Now again down minus up. So 4 and 4. And here we get plus 3 again. Down minus up. Minus 6 minus 4. So what do you get? Minus 3. And here we get plus the 8 to the 16. And here we get minus 30. So what do you get? Minus 17. So according to the property, what will be the answer? Minus 17 into this matrix. So what will be your answer? So your answer will be simply minus 17 0 0 0 minus 17 0 0 0 and minus 17. So this is how you solve this question. No worries कि हमको नहीं पता है adjoint में के property. You have to know it because these questions are very important and full scoring they are. So that is why they are very important. Right, now let's move on to the test. Now the variable cost of producing X units is this. Now, if the company incurs a fixed cost of rupees 10,000, then find the level of output where average cost is minimum. So we have to simply find the point of minimum for finding the average cost to be minimum, right? So now let's find it. So dvx is x square plus 2x. Dx means that's a variable cost. Now fixed cost plus variable cost. What is the fixed cost? 10,000 rupees. So total cost function क्या हो जाएगा हमारे पास? Variable plus fixed cost. Correct. So what is your variable cost? X square plus 2x plus 10,000 will be your fixed cost. Okay. Now let's move on to the question. Now they are saying level of output where average cost is minimum. Average cost क्या होता है? Average cost होता है cost function upon x. So let's find it. X square upon x, 2x upon x, and 10,000 upon x. So x cut, x cut. So what do we get? X plus 2 plus 10,000 upon x. Now we have to solve for minima. So we will find the derivative. So 1, 2 ka derivative is 0 minus 10,000 upon x square. Now let's equate it to 0 because we have to find the point of minima for that. So now what will you get? So for minima, x square minus 10,000 will be equal to 0. So x is basically 100. Minus 100 it couldn't be because commodities can never be negative, so you will reject that. So now this will be the point of minima. And how can you show that this is a point of minima? If we find the second order derivative, right? If we find the second order derivative, what will it be? 0 plus 10,000 into 2 upon x cube, so which is going to be positive for all values of x. So that is why x is equal to 100 is point of minima. Simply point of minimum. So for this value of x, it will have minimum average cost. Correct? So we have to simply find the level of output. So if the company is going to produce 100 units, then the average cost will be minimum. So that will be the concluding line. Now let's move on to the next. So that is again based on the determinants. So your A is given as x2 to x. Now what does it mean? Determinant value of a cube is 125, that is given to you. So simply the one thing is you find a cube and then you put the determinant value equated to that and then get the value of x, right? So that is one part of it. Now how to do it in a very simple way? So a cube का मतलब क्या होता है? Simply a into a into a cube होता है, right? So similarly, according to the property of determinant, if you multiply the determinant also 3 times, it becomes the determinant of a cube, right? So that is what we have. So now what is the determinant of a? Determinant of a is x square minus 4. Down minus up because it's a 2 by 2 order matrix. Now x square minus 4, x square minus 4, x square minus 4, 3 times we have. So simply we get x square minus 4 raised to 3, and which is equal to 125. And 125 is nothing but 5 cubes. So very simple calculation. You don't have to use the identity for cube at all. Just cancel the cubes from both the sides, because same roots will repeat for 3 times. So x square is 9. So x is plus minus 3, right? So x is plus minus 3. So in a very simple way, you can do the calculations, right? No worries, no hurry up, right? So in a very simple way, you can do the calculation. So x is going to be plus minus 3. So two values of x are there. Clear? Now let's move on to the next question. Now find the last digit of 17 raised to 17. Now this is a question which is based on first unit. Now last digit means we are going to find the value with the congruence modulo 10. राइट सो लास्ट डिजिट में जो भी हमारे पास रिमाइंडर आता है दैट विल गिव अस द आंसर सो नाउ वी हैव टू फाइंड दिस वैल्यू नाउ फॉर फाइंडिंग दिस वैल्यू we have to simply use the logic of congruence modulo. Now first thing that we have to start with 17 को अगर हमने शिफ्ट किया so what do we get 7, correct? Now if we do 17 square and we divide it by 10 simply, so what will you get? You will get 289, right? So 289 means your remainder will be what? Simply you are dividing 10. Now instead of using 9, what else we can use as per the properties of the congruence modulo? Minus 1. This is very important step. If you write it correctly, you will get the answer easily. So now 17 square ko we can make it to the power 8. So minus 1 will also become to the power 8 because we have to reach to 17. So we have reached to 16 now. One more 17 is required, right? Now let's make it 1 raised to 8 is 1. So now again we will take one more 17 here into count. Now again if I multiply or by 17, so I will have to divide again by 17. So what will you get here? So 1 को भी हम 17 से multiply करेंगे, right? But if I divide 17 with 10, what will be the remainder? The remainder will be 7, right? So the 7 will be your remainder simply. So that will be your last digit as well, right? So the last digit is 7, correct? So अगर last two digits होते we would have been taking mod with 100. Last digit is there, we will be taking mod with 10 only. So this is how do we solve in sequence, right? So this is a simple 2 mark question, full scoring, correct? And now we start with the solution of section C. Now here is given on a question of integration, right? So we can see it. Now let's start with the first question. So it is evaluate 2x plus 1 upon x plus 1 x minus 2. Now how will you integrate it? So for integration we have to simply use, because it's a factorized form in the denominator, so we will be simply using partial fraction, right? So let's use partial fraction and do it. Now for the partial fraction, as the both the factors are linear, so we can write, let's simplify it first. So we get here a upon x plus 1 and x minus 2, that is what we can get, correct? So now let's find the values of a and b, correct? So let's do it and start with it. So now we have here 2x plus 1 upon x plus 1 into x minus 2, that is what we have. Now let's move on. So here we have a upon x plus 1 plus b upon x minus 2. This is what we can write for our given function, right? Now let's find the values for a and b now. So if you take the LCM, what will you get? X plus 1, x minus 2. And with A, you will get x minus 2. And with B, you will get x plus 1. Right? Now, denominators are same both for the function and the new fractions that we are getting. But numerators are to be compared. Right? So what we will do? We will make two equations. A plus B is 2, the coefficients of x. And one equation will be for constant terms. Right? So that is what we get. So A plus b is 1. So if I just use simply elimination method, I can eliminate both of them. So what will I get? 3a is equal to 1. So a is 1 by 3. And so b will be what? 2 minus 1 by 3, that is 5 by 3. So these are the values for A and B, right? So if I go with the marking scheme also, I'll tell you a detailed marking scheme. So till here, if you do it, you will get 2 marks out of 3, because the values of A and B are very, very important, because after this you have a very simple step to move forward. Correct? So this is how we go on. So till here you will get 2 marks. Now what is for 1 mark? The last step that we have. Now the given function can be written as 1 upon 3, this is 3. Okay? 1 upon x plus 1 plus 5 by 3, 1 upon x minus 2. You can make it two integrals as well if you want. And then just one line answer you have, 1 upon 3 log of x plus 1 plus 5 by 3 log of x minus 2. So that is the final answer that we get here. Plus C. C is very important, students. Half mark is for C if you miss it out, right? So 2 marks will be there and 1 mark will be for the last step that we have here. So this is how do we move on with this question. Now for the OR part also we have the same method of partial fraction, because again it is in the factorized form. The only difference is we have to take one more, what do we say, uh, step into consideration, that is you have to go with the substitution again. So now here x square ko we will put t. Okay, so that is one additional step, because the derivative of x square is given in the numerator. So what do you get here? 2x dx is equal to dt. Correct? Now let's move on with this. So here you get dt upon t plus 1 and t plus 3. Now here I will tell you one different way of doing the partial fractions, that is how to find the values of a and b. So I'll tell you a different way here. Now what is that way? So that way is very simple. In fact, here I would say, so now your function is 1 upon t plus 1, t plus 3. Correct? Now let's make the partial fractions for the same. So 1 upon t plus 1, t plus 3 को आपको partial fractions लेना है. So a upon t plus 1, b upon t plus 3, right? This is how you take it. Now let's take the values of a and b. Now here it's a very easy way, as I said. Let's take the LCM first and then I'll tell you what is it. So t plus 3, b t plus 1 upon t plus 3, t plus 1. Correct? And on the left hand side, you have 1 upon t plus 1, t plus 3. Now, the way that I am telling is t plus 3, t plus 1. So, there are two factors. Now, for these two factors, what are the zeros? Your zeros are minus 3 and minus 1. Correct? So, minus 3, minus 1 हमारे zeros हैं. So, we will put t as minus 3 first. Okay? On both sides. Numerators of both sides. Left side भी और right side भी. यहाँ पे हमारा left side is 1 only, so no difference. Now if I put minus 3 in my numerator on right side, what will I get? A ka coefficient 0, B ka coefficient will become what? Minus 3 plus 1 will become minus 2. So B is minus 1 by 2. Simple. No need of forming any equation. Just put the zeros. Now if I put T as minus 1, correct? The other 0. So what will I get? Again the left side will remain the same, 1, but the right side will change. Minus 1 plus 3 is 2a, and with the b it becomes 0. So a का value हो गया 1 by 2 और b का value है minus 1 by 2. So these are the two values that I am getting. Now if I use it, I will get it like this. Now you can integrate it both the sides. So 1 by 2 log t plus 1 and minus 1 by 2 log t plus 3. Right? Now this is what we get. Now we will resubstitute the values. That's it. This is your final answer. Again in this question, because substitution was also there, so half mark will be for your substitution. And again 1.5 will be for the entire thing. And the last we will again have 1 mark. Correct? So this is how it goes on. So half. So final answer will be written like this. Log of x square plus 1 minus half log of x square plus 3 is equals C. If you want, you can take a half common and then go with the properties of log, that is half log of x square plus 1 upon x square plus 3 plus c at last. Okay, so this is how do we go with these questions of integration. I hope all of you have understood it. Now let's move on to the next. So let's go with the 27th question. Now this is the question which is based on application again. Now application of integrals पे based है, because marginal revenue is given to you. If the marginal revenue functions of the commodity is so and so, now you have to find total revenue and the demand function as well. So marginal revenue say whenever we have to find the revenue, what do? We integrate it simply. So your marginal revenue is given here. So now if I simply ask you marginal revenue क्या होता है, so what will you say? Marginal revenue is nothing but dr by dx, right? So dr by dx को अभी हमें क्या बनाना है? We have to change it to r, correct? So जब भी हमें डिफरेंशिएशन से फंक्शन पे जाना होता है, we integrate. So what do? We integrate dr and mr with respect to dx. So you can just, if, as you have done now, differential equations also, so variable separable form we are taking simply, right? So dr is equal to integral of this. So dr का integral क्या हो जाएगा? R, which is your revenue function. Now mr is 9 minus 6x square plus 2x dx. So what will be the integration? 9 का integration 9x, 6 is constant, x square का integration x cube by 3, and 2 is constant, so x का integration is x square by 2 plus c, correct? So that is what we have here. So total revenue that you have here is this, but c has to be found out, right? तो c का वैल्यू हम कैसे निकालेंगे? c का वैल्यू हम कैसे निकालते हैं? When x is 0, आपको कंडीशन नहीं दी है, बट आपको एक चीज तो पता है कि अगर आप कुछ कमोडिटी आप सेल आउट ही नहीं करोगे, कुछ नहीं करोगे, तो आपके पास रेवेन्यू कितना आएगा? सो इफ आई जस्ट गो विद दिस, सो व्हेन x is 0, r will be coming 0, because if I put here x 0, r is coming 0, so your c is 0. So your r has reduced to what? Your r has reduced to 9x minus 6x cube upon 3 plus 2x square upon 2. You can cut 2 as well. So c का वैल्यू सीधे सीधे हमने क्या किया? 0 बना दिया. So now what is your demand function? So till here again, see, this will be half mark if you write it. All these calculations will be for half mark. Half mark will be for this, and then you get this half mark. So in all you get 2 marks here till here. Okay. So this is how we go on. Now what about the rest 1 mark? That will be for demand function. And what is demand function? Demand function is always revenue upon x, correct? So that is what we have. So demand function हम directly निकालेंगे 9x minus 3 को भी हम 6 से divide कर देते हैं, 2x cube plus x square whole divided by x. So what's your final answer? 9 minus 2x square plus x. That is your demand function simply. So it's a very simple question which is based on simply applications of integrals, economic applications है. Marginal revenue दिया है, उसको integrate करके we will find the revenue, and demand function is revenue upon x. Remember c का value, yes, we have to find before giving the final answer. Now let's move on to the next. Now this is the question. The next question is given on marginal cost. So marginal cost का फंक्शन हमें डायरेक्ट नहीं दिया है, बट वी आर गिवन दैट मार्जिनल कॉस्ट इज अ कांस्टेंट मल्टीपल ऑफ नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स एक्स प्रोड्यूस्ड, राइट? सो नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स एक्स प्रोड्यूस के लिए व्हाट वी कैन टेक, mc is kx, that is basically it is proportional to the number of units produced. So kx, so x क्या है? नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस्ड, because in question they have given in capital letters. So x we can, they are taking small, so we can write it separately also, like it's a unit produced. Now again marginal cost is nothing but the change in cost with respect to the commodities. So again it is dc by dx. So again if we make it, we can make it with a variable separable form as well, correct? So this is what we have here. So now what will be the answer? So my answer will be c is equal to k, and what is the integration of x? X square by 2, and this is your constant of integration c1. Why we are taking just c1? Because constant function भी हम c से ले रहे हैं, it should not be the same variable for anything. Now we again use the initial conditions. So find the total cost and the average cost function. Fixed cost is given rupees 2000, and the cost of producing 20 units is given rupees 3000. So we have to use these initial conditions. Okay. So when x is 0, what is given to you? When x is 0, it is given to you that your initial cost, correct? So when x is 2, what will you get? You will get the value of c with that. So your fixed cost is 2000. Okay. So your c1 basically becomes what? 2000, क्योंकि आपका c कितना दिया है? 2000. करेक्ट। सो आपके पास जब x 0 है तो फिक्स कॉस्ट आपका 2000 है, तो जब आप x को 0 रखेंगे और c 2000 होगा तो आपके पास C1 क्या आ जाएगा, 2000 ओनली। नाउ k का वैल्यू निकालना है अब हमें। सो उसके लिए सेकेंड कंडीशन को यूज करेंगे। कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग 20 यूनिट्स इज 3000। सो नाउ लेट्स यूज द सेकेंड कंडीशन। सो दिस वाज द फर्स्ट कंडीशन, now let's use the second condition. X is 20, so you have to find, and C is given 3000. That is your cost, total cost. Okay, so let's make it 3000 is equal to K, 20 square upon 2 plus 2000. Now we will calculate this and get the value of K. Okay, now let's calculate it and get the value of K. 3000 minus 2000 is 1000, correct? And then into 2 upon 400. Let's make it. So K का value कितना आ जाता है हमारे पास, 5. So value of K is 5. So what is the total cost? The total cost is going to be what? 5x square by 2 plus 2000. फिक्स कॉस्ट भी ऐड कर दिया आपने, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट भी ऐड कर दिया, एंड दैट गिव्स यू टोटल कॉस्ट। नाउ व्हाट इज योर एवरेज कॉस्ट? एवरेज कॉस्ट क्या होता है, टी सी बाय एक्स। सो वी विल फाइंड सिंपली टी सी बाय एक्स हियर। सो 5x² अपॉन 2 प्लस 2000 को हमें किससे डिवाइड करना है, x से डिवाइड करना है। सो व्हाट विल यू गेट द आंसर, 5/2x प्लस 2000 अपॉन x। सो दिस इज योर एवरेज कॉस्ट, करेक्ट। अब इसका जब हम मार्किंग करेंगे, अगेन सेम वे स्टूडेंट्स, हाफ मार्क आपको फंक्शन फॉर्म करने का मिलेगा, देन यू विल गेट हाफ मार्क फॉर दिस, देन हाफ मार्क फॉर ईच इनिशियल कंडीशन यू विल गेट। आपने C1 का वैल्यू निकाला, आपने K का वैल्यू निकाला, then half mark for total cost function and half mark for your average cost. In this way, the 3 marks will be divided, half, half, half for each step. So everything is important. Just take care of that. Don't just directly write it. Okay, formulas are in itself important. Just make sure of that. Don't be in hurry. They are very simple questions. Okay, so you will simply get the answers in one go. So just be patient, be careful with the calculations. Now let's move on to the next question, 28th question, right? Now from a lot of 15 bulbs, which include 5 defective bulbs, a sample of 4 bulbs is drawn one by one with replacement. Find the probability distribution of the number of defective bulbs, hence find the mean of the distribution. Now this is the question from probability binomial distribution. Now here this is a lot of 15 bulbs. तो total कितने bulbs हैं हमारे पास, 15, उसमें से 5 defective हैं. So now sample of 4 bulbs are drawn one by one. So if I just go with this, probability of defective bulbs, what will be the probability of defective bulbs? 5 by 15, that is 1 by 3. So probability of non-defective bulbs, that will be 2 by 3, correct? Because always the success and the failure दोनों का sum कितना होता है probabilities का, 1, correct? So now this we can do directly as well. So this will be your P and this will be your Q as per the formula of binomial distribution. Now what's the formula of binomial distribution? Let's have a quick recap for that. NCR P raised to R, Q raised to N minus R for the random variable X is equal to R. Now let's make it. They are saying you are getting a sample of 4 bulbs and one by one they are drawn. So what is the probability distribution of the number of defective bulbs? So now your R जो हमने X is equal to R लिया है, that will come out to be what? We have to use this formula for every case. So हमारे पास 4 draws हैं. So what can be the numbers possible for the defective bulbs? You can have 0 defective bulb, 1 defective bulb, 2, 3 or 4 defective bulbs. Okay. Now if I just write it, this is P of X and this is your random variable chosen. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 possibilities हैं कि इतने defective bulbs आए. Now we are going to use this simple formula every time. P का value 1 by 3 है, Q का value 2 by 3 है. Okay, so I will simply write it for you. So now what do you get? First, और n क्या है हमारे पास? N is 4. So total 4 draws you are doing and you are taking out the bulbs. So 0 defective bulb, one defective bulb, two defective bulbs, three defective bulbs, and four defective bulbs are possible. So now if I go with this, what will be the answer here? Let me solve one or two in detail and then we will write the answers. Okay. So 4C0, P raised to 0, Q raised to 4 minus 0. This will be the case for the first one. Okay. That is 0. So now what is P? 1 upon 3. What is Q? 2 upon 3 raised to 4. So what will you get? 4C0 is 1 only. 2 raised to 4 कितना होता है? 16. और 3 raised to 4 कितना होता है? 81. So this is what we get here. So this will be the case for x is equal to 0. Now for x is equal to 1, if I write here only 4C1, 1 by 3 raised to 1 and 2 by 3 raised to 3. Just use the same formula. Okay, we are going to use the same formula every time. Now 4C1, correct? 1 by 3, 2 cube upon 3 cube. So what will you get? 2 cube is 8. 4C1 क्या होता है? 4 होता है. Correct? Let's write the formula for the NCR also here. Factorial n minus r, and factorial r. So those who don't know, they can refer here as well. So what will be the answer? 4 into 1 by 3 into 8 upon 3 cube. So what will be the answer? 32 upon 81. So this is our final answer. Now similarly we go for 2. So what will it be? 4c2, 1 by 3 square and 2 by 3 square. Okay, this is how we go. Now 4c2. 4c2 का value क्या होता है? Simply we have the value according to this formula. Factorial 4 upon factorial 2 into factorial 2. So that will be 6 into 4 upon 81. So that gives you the answer 24 by 81. Correct? Now let's move on to the next. 4c3. 1 by 3 raised to 3 and 2 by 3. Now 4C3 will be same as if we have here 4C1, okay? Because in combination NCA is equal to NCB. So that is what we have. So now here it will be 4 into, again we have 2 upon 81. So what will get? 81. Correct? So that will be the answer. Now 4C4. 1 by 3 raised to 4, 2 by 3 raised to 0. So what will you get? 4c4 is 1 upon 81. Correct? So 1 upon 81. So that will be the answer. So this is how do we make that table, because we need this table to find the mean. Probability distribution, this is what it is. So for this part, you will get 1.5 full marks, or 2 also you might get if you write the formula and everything. Now what's the formula for the mean? So mean is also known as expected value. This is simply sigma pi xi. Correct? So now pi xi. So you have to multiply the corresponding and add them. So what will I get? 0 into 16 by 81 plus 1 into 32 by 81. Do not reduce anywhere. 24 by 81 into 2 plus 8 by 81 into 3 plus 4 into 1 by 81. 81 same रखेंगे हम, so that LCM ले सके and easily we can calculate it. Okay, now let's move it out. 81. So with 0 into 16 is 0, 32, 48, 24 and 4. Okay, so 8 plus 2 10, 10 plus 8 18, 3 7, right? So this is what we get. Now if I just divide it by 3, what will I get? Here 27, here I get 36. Again if I divide it by 9, 4 by 3. So that's my answer. So my mean is 4 by 3. So this is 1 mark, 1.5 again you get for the entire thing. Half mark for the formula of mean, 1 mark for the calculation. Lowest term may, yes, you have to reduce, no need of any decimals. That's a very common query of the students. So this is how do we go with it. So 28th question was based on probability. Now let's move on to the next. Now this is the question based on matrix. So let's move on with this. Show that A satisfies the equation. Now we have to simply find a square first. A is like a variable here, students. You have to substitute the values and get it. So for a square, we need to follow the multiplication rules and all. So here we get this. So now we have to multiply it. Now let's divide the row with the column. So 25 minus 3. First row with the second column now. So 5 3s are 15 minus 6. Then second row with the first column. So minus 5 plus 2. And then minus 3 plus 4. So what is your answer? So your answer will be 22, 9, minus 3 and 1. So this is what we get here. So this is a square. 3a is simple. 7i means you are going to multiply the 7 or the identity matrix, and we'll take the same order of identity matrix as the order of a matrix. Now let's frame the equation, students, here. So what will you get? We have to put it here. Okay, and satisfy left hand side is equal to right hand side or not. So a square already we have found. Now minus 3a. A is what? 5. 3 minus 1 minus 2 and 7i. What is I? 1 0 0 1. So it's an identity matrix. So we are solving left hand side and we'll make sure it's equal to right hand side or not. Okay, now let's make it. So 22 9 minus 3 1 and minus. Now let's multiply 15 9 minus 3 minus 6 minus 7007. Now we will simply use the concept of addition and subtraction. So now what we will get? 22 minus 15 minus 7. That's the first. Corresponding elements को करना है आपको. Minus 3 plus 0 or minus 0, and then we get 1 plus 6 minus 7. So we get 0 0 0 0. So which is your simply satisfying the right hand side. Okay, so this is satisfied and hence find a inverse. Now we have to find a inverse. So for finding the a inverse, what we will do, we will simply find a inverse for this. So a inverse के लिए क्या चाहिए आपको? आपको adjoint चाहिए, आपको what do we say, cofactors चाहिए, और one way is use this equation as well. Correct? So how can we use this equation for that? So for using this equation, देखिए a square minus 3a is equal to 7i. That is what we can do. Correct? Now if I multiply both sides by a inverse, okay, what will I get? A inverse a, 3a inverse a, and 7a inverse. Okay, because I into a inverse is this. Now this is what we get. So a inverse a is I, so this is a minus 3i, because a inverse a is I. Remember, a inverse is I, or a inverse a is also I, and this is equal to 7a inverse. Now we will simply subtract this, and hence लिखा है तो आपको equation को use करके करना है. So a minus 3i we have to do, and then divided by 7. So what is your a? 5, 3 minus 1 minus 2, 3 1 0 0 1. So ये ध्यान में रखिए students. Hence है, we have to use this equation to find it. Otherwise adjoint cofactors, as I told you, you know the formula also, right? Now let's move it. So what will you get? 5 minus 3, 3 minus 0, minus 1 minus 0, and minus 2 plus 3. And this is equal to 7 a inverse. So what will be the answer? So a inverse will be 1 by 7. 5 minus 3 is 2, 3 minus 0 is 3, minus 1 minus 1, and here what do we get? Here we get, okay, it's minus 3. Okay, so we get minus 5. So this is our final answer. We have not used any adjoint or cofactor here. We have used the equation to find it. So that is why it's very, very important. Correct? So just make sure how do we do it? We pre-multiply or post-multiply by A inverse to get the answer. Correct? So this is how we move on. Now for the OR part, we will move on to the next. Now for the OR part, we have to find the inverse, and then we have to show whether A inverse A is equal to I. And of course it is always. Correct? So let's find the inverse first. So inverse ke liye we will have to find cofactors and everything here. Right? There is no other option to us. Now let's find it. So cofactors we will find for each element, and I am denoting it with C. Okay, so we will frame the matrix of cofactors. We'll take its adjoint. So what's the formula of A inverse? Let's write it here. Adjoint of A upon determinant value of A. And what is adjoint of A? Adjoint of A is transpose of the matrix of cofactors. Okay, so we have to write the corresponding cofactors and take the transpose. So let's find A determinant also. So what will be the value of determinant first? If we are expanding along row 1, so minus 3, down minus up. So 12 minus 10. minus minus plus 1. Okay, now again down, minus up, then we move to the third term, so minus 1 we get. Again down, minus up. Let's do it. Minus 3 plus 2, we get minus 6. Here we get 5. Okay, so what do we get the answer as? Not 5, we are getting 15 minus 15, we get 10. And here what do we get? 12 and 6. And here what do we get? 30, 15 and 2, and then 6 and 30. So 60, 0. Right, let's check it again. Minus 3 into 12 minus 10, and then plus 1. So here we get, oh sorry, that was 30. Minus 30, sorry, that was the error. Right, now let's move on with this. So what do we have here? Let's make it out once again. So what do we get? Minus 3, 12 minus 10, and then here we get 1 minus 30, and here we get plus 25. Okay, and here we get 30 minus 30. So what do we get? Minus 6, and which is not equal to 0. So A inverse exists. So this is our first condition of A inverse, right? So this is what we have here. Now let's find the cofactors now. Students, so minus 11 we have found, so A inverse exists. Now let's find the corresponding cofactors. Okay, now let's do it. So here what do we get? C11. Now C11 ke liye what we will have? We will have the same cofactor as we have done above for minus 3. Right? So what will be the cofactor? Leave the row and column in which minus 3 is there. और जो हमारा छोटा वाला मैट्रिक्स बनेगा, the determinant value of that matrix we will use. Okay, so that is what we have the concept along with the signs. And I think all of you are clear with the signs. We go with the positive, negative. Okay, now let's move on with this. So what do we have here? So C11. So what will be the answer for C11? C11 में हमारे पास, if I write the generalized formula, so what will I get the generalized formula as? Generalized formula में if I simply, okay, I make it one determinant, plus minus plus minus plus minus plus minus plus. This is what we use for the cofactor sign. Cofactor का अगर हम generalized formula लिखें, what will it be? Minus 1 I plus j and into the minor. Okay, this is what we get by we put it correct. So minus 1 I plus j mij. So this is what we get the formula of cofactors, but we are finding the cofactors directly. Sign को ध्यान में रखिए, that is important. So for minus 3 we leave the row and column in which minus 3 is there. Okay, so down minus up. So what will you get? Simply 12 minus 10, that is 2. Now C12. C12 के लिए what we will get? Again we will get again same thing which you have got it here. So what will you get here? 5. So why 5? Why not minus 5? Because the sign will go with negative. Now we go with the C13. C13 will be what? 0. Correct? Now we move to C21. C21. Leave the row and column in which minus 15 is there. So minus 1 into minus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2, and then you get plus 2. So it will become again 0. Now for C22, the sign is positive. So leave the 6 in which it is present. Leave the row and column. Okay, and now let's find it. So minus 3 and 2 will become minus 6 and minus 5. So what will you get here? Minus 11, and it will become plus 11 using the sign. Now C23. C23 will be what? Leave the row and column in which minus 5 is there. Correct? So what will you get? 6 plus 5. Correct? 3 to the minus 3 into minus 2 will be 6, and then plus 5. So 6 plus 5, what will you get here? 11. And what will be the sign? Negative sign. Now we come to the next positive sign. So C31. Leave the row and column in which 5 is there. So 5 minus 6 is minus 1. So plus minus 1 is minus 1. Now C3 2. Leave the row and column in which 2 is there. So 15 plus 15. That will give you what? 30. Correct? So what will be the sign? Positive sign. So we get here 30. So now what will be the next? C3 2. Oh, C3 2 we were finding, right? Leave the row and column in which it is there. So we get here 15 and then plus 15. Correct? So what do we get here? 30. Correct? And the sign will be negative. Correct? Now C3 2. C3 3. Positive sign. And leave the row and column in which 2 is there. So 18 minus, and then we get here what? Minus 15. Correct? So what will be the answer? Minus 33. So this is how you get it. Correct? So this is what we have. So this is what we get for the cofactors. Correct? Now let's move on to adjoint. So adjoint is transpose of the matrix of cofactors. So first let's write the cofactors. Right? Now let's make it. Now what will be the determinant value? We have already found minus 11. Now we have to take the transpose. So 250, 11 minus 11. So this is your adjoint. So what's your A inverse now? So your A inverse is 20 minus 1, 5, 11 minus 30. And you have here 0 minus 11 minus 33. Now you have to show A inverse is I. Till here you will get 2 marks again, students. Half mark will be for all the formula that you have written. 1 mark will be for this. Okay? 1.5 in fact for everything adjoint and cofactors. Correct? So this is how we go on. So here we till here we get half mark for this substitution if I go. And then for the last part there will be only 1 mark. Correct? So this is how we go. Now here we have A inverse. So we have to multiply. Minus 3, minus 1, 1, minus 15, 6, minus 5, and 5 minus 2, 2. And here we get 2, 0, minus 1, 5, 11, minus 30, and then 0, minus 11, minus 33. And here we will get, if we multiply both of them, first row, first column, you can check, minus 6, minus 5, you, sorry, minus 6 and then minus 5. What will you get the answer as? You will get the answer as identity matrix, right? So this is how you have to move on with this. Correct? Clear to everyone? I've written it. Just check. Right? And we have now divided by this. Just check everyone. Are you getting? I'm doing the calculations in rough so that we can get the answer. So minus 6, minus 5, minus 11. So we get the answer 1 because we will divide it by minus 11. Okay, अभी हम divide नहीं कर रहे हैं fractions को because it will take tough for you. So you just multiply first. Okay, I just do one thing. I just write here so that you are clear कि 11 से हमें करना है. Then multiply the first row with the second column. So minus 11 plus 11 you are getting. So that will become 0. Correct? Now let's do it for the next. So this is how you move on. Correct? So minus 3 into 0 you get, and then you get here minus 11 and then plus 11. Correct? So this is how we move on. Just check everyone. Clear? This is minus. I've written it wrong value here somewhere. Just check. Yes, this is minus and this is plus. Yes, I've substituted it wrong. Please make a change. Yes, this is how it goes on, students. Correct? Just check once more. Is it clear to everyone? Right? So this is how you get the answers. Correct? Correct? So you will get the identity matrix. Correct? So this is what we have. So this was the question based on matrices. Now let's move on to the next. Now, three pipes A, B, and C can fill a tank together in 8 hours. After working it together for 2 hours, B is closed and A and C fill the remaining part in 9 hours. Find the time in which B alone can fill the tank. So, this is the question which is based on numerical applications, and it's a simple question based on the tank filling pipes and cisterns, that is. So, A, B, C together they are filling it up in 8 hours. So let's find it out. 1 hour may they fill up how much? So A, B, C together in 1 hour they will fill in 1 hour. How much tank will be filled? 1/8 tank will be filled. Now after working it together for 2 hours, तो अब आपको ये निकालना है कि 2 hours में कितना fill किया होगा. Okay, so in 2 hours they work together. So in 2 hours they will fill how much? 2/8, that is 1/4 tank will be filled. अब B को हमने close कर दिया. Okay, so now if we have closed B, so A and C are working together. So 3/4 tank is left now, right? Not the full tank. और remaining part उन्होंने कितने घंटे में fill out किया? 9 hours में. So 1 hour में they would have filled 3/4 tank. Correct? कितना tank full करेंगे? 1/12 part. How much? 1/12 part. Okay. Now we have to find B's 1 hour work. So B का 1 hour work, how will you find? A और C ने they are working together and they are filling 1/12 part in 9 hours basically. 3/4 का. Okay, now in 2 hours as we just said 1/4 tank fill हुआ था तो 3/4 बचा था. 3/4 का 1 hour में कितना fill हुआ होगा? 1/12 part. It's like that. So find the time in which B alone can fill the tank. So that is what the question is. So B's 1 hour work will be what? Together they were working, correct? Minus A plus C working together. So 1/12 fill होता है. So let's subtract it. Simple equation है. A plus B plus C is 1/8. So A and C together, if they are working, they are filling it up 1/12 in 1 hour. Correct? So now let's subtract it. So now what will you get? 24. 3 minus 2. So that is 1/24. So B will fill the tank in 24 hours. That's a simple question. So 1 mark will be for your this, half mark for finding in 2 hours. A and C working together, that's very important step, and half mark will be for your final answer. Clear? So this is how it goes on. Very simple question, full 3 marks scoring. Now let's move on to the next. Two vessels A and B contain milk and water in the ratio 7:5 and 17:7 respectively. In what ratio mixtures from the two vessels should be mixed to get a new mixture containing milk and water in the ratio 5:3? Now when we have such type of questions, या तो आप milk के लिए ratio निकालिए या फिर आप water के लिए निकालिए. दोनों के लिए साथ में नहीं करते हैं because you are missing the two things. Okay, एक में mixture है दोनों में. So let's take it for milk. Okay. So next see quantity of milk. in mixture A. So that is 7 by 12. Quantity of milk in mixture B. How much? 17 by 24. ओके, आप फर्स्ट वाले को भी चेंज कर सकते हैं बाय टेकिंग मल्टीपल. नाउ टेल मी किसमें ज़्यादा है. वाई? दिस इज फॉर कंपेरिजन आई डिड, बिकॉज इससे आपको पता लगेगा कौन सा डियरर है और कौन सा चीपर है. राइट. नाउ ऑन मिक्सिंग. करेक्ट. व्हाट डू वी गेट? 5/8. और 5/8 को भी अगर हम चेंज कर लें सेम में तो हमारे लिए कंपैरिजन बहुत इजी हो जाता है. सो क्वांटिटी ऑफ मिल्क इन मिक्सचर ए आपका क्या है? चीपर. इन मिक्सचर बी कॉस्टलियर. एंड मीन दोनों का 15 है. ओके, सो नाउ लेट्स टेक इट. सो नाउ वी हैव क्वांटिटी ऑफ, यहाँ पे हम ए का ले लेते हैं, यहाँ पे हम बी का ले लेते हैं. दोनों को हमने मिक्स किया तो यहाँ 15 हो गया. 24 हम अगर इग्नोर भी कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो आप लिख भी सकते हैं. इट्स अप टू यू. Correct. Now what will you get here? And here what do we get? Correct. So this is what we have. So now ratio of cheaper upon ratio of dearer. This is what we get, dearer quantity. So that is 2 is to 1. So what's the ratio now? A was the cheaper, B was this. So 2 is to 1. A mixture or B mixture. This was our A mixture, this was our B mixture. So important part क्या है? First you have to take only for one milk or water, and then we go for the rest, or costlier or dear, cheaper or dearer. That's important to find it out and make the denominator same. It will make your calculations for quite easier. Okay, so this is what we have. So this was the solution for the section C, students. I hope you all have understood. If you have any queries, put up your messages, and if you have understood it well, please like, share and subscribe. We're moving on with D and E in the next part. Okay, thank you everyone.